the final day of our 21 days to releasing fear of the future. I do have one other request that I will do either tomorrow or the next day. Who knows, maybe later today. But this request was fear of more, I'm putting it simply, fear of more loss. Already experienced loss of family members, and now some other family member is at risk. And loss, there's been a lot of loss lately, a lot of loss around my life as well. So loss is always hard, especially, just for us as human beings. It's a hard thing we never want to see. There's always a space missing for us with loss, and depending on how the loss happens, if it's shocking, if there's preparation for it, it's just so complex. But let's just start by tapping on the fear of loss. So karate chop. Even though I have such a fear of more loss, I've already lost a loved one. I'm not prepared to lose another. I choose to acknowledge I feel this way now. Even though I feel like there's been too much loss, I'm not ready for more. I deeply and profoundly accept myself now. Even though I fear more loss, it just feels like too much. I choose to honor my truth right now. All this loss, I feel like I'm just barely getting over one loss. And now, another one? I could face another loss? It just feels like too much. And I don't understand why this is happening. It makes no sense to me. I've already get over one loss. And now I might have to face another? The thought breaks my heart. It feels like it's more than I can bear. And what if I can keep tapping on all the grief? Allowing the grief to surface and do my best to move through it. And as I honor this grief, if there are deeper things here that need to come up for me, they're gonna come up. And what if I can do my best to stay present with my emotions, present with this process, do my best space, everything that needs to come up everything that needs to go can go from my nervous system, from my energy field. And what if, as I honor my full experience, I get through this grief with more presence than I ever thought possible. And I heal my way through it. So take a breath. So a topic very near and dear to my heart, since it's just over a year ago that my sister passed away, and then on the same day I had a cat that I adored that was killed, and there was this other loss in our family as well. And what I found is, as I allowed myself, because there was more trauma for me below the surface that intensified everything, and as I allowed myself to go into that, this is what I would say: grief brings everything up. Grief will bring past traumas up. That's what happened for me. I've said this many times. I was far more prepared for my sister because we thought we were going to lose her in March, and then she came out of it and stayed around with us until September. And it was wonderful to have that extra time with her. And there's something so profound of knowing that you're with someone on their journey towards their transition. But when I had other trauma surface and it was so intense, I was able to tap through that. And I literally was like, when I was tapping through it with the person I tapped through, I was hyperventilating. I had so much intensity of emotion. But I literally felt like when I was done with that tapping, something huge had shifted in me, huge. I had definitely released a very long-held trauma that was in there. Hey, Ruth. And through that, I just say it this way, what I was left with was what I would call amazing, beautiful grief. And it was a very powerful experience and has continued to be. And that's what I would say is, just if you notice like exceptionally intense emotions around it, I would invite you to just keep tapping on that and see what else comes up, because it's very likely that something from the past is mixed in with this. And as that gets released, then you really can stay present with the loss and the grief without all this other intensity in the way. And it doesn't mean that grief isn't its own intense experience, but I say this from personal experience. Something tremendous shifted in me through getting this trauma that I had, sort of moved on. And then I was able to feel sadness and, hurt and loss and all of that. And yet I wasn't overwhelmed by it. And it was huge. So what'd you say? Gosh, how appropriate that right, Ruth? So go back if this helps and tap through what I just finished tapping on. That's so true. My God. Yeah, perfect timing. Divinely appointed, I think. So, but that is so what I will say that I found is grief brings up so much other stuff. And when you can start to separate that and go, oh God, because I was on that plane, I've told the story a million times. This is trauma, Marty. This is trauma that's coming up. So tapped through that, and then I came home, got back to my home, tapped, and then I was able to just be left with the grief that I was feeling without all the other traumatic events kind of rolled into it that just made it seem completely overwhelming and almost impossible. So I hope you find that helpful to you as you walk this journey. And anyone else that's been here live, I can tell Ruth's here, I can't tell who else. And have a great rest of your day, and wishing you all well, or evening or morning, wherever you are. Bye for now.